and this is this is a chart that compares the different versions of the model for this classification task. So you can see if you don't use potential information at all, if you use the model without interactions, which cover interaction over here, if you use just the cloud context, and if you use the models together. Okay. So now, because I'm running out of time, because I skipped the results here, I'm going to conclude by saying that I hope I convince you with this talk today that grounding the clear understanding with the 3D physical world is critical, and semantic interactions among humans enable more powerful models for activity understanding, and also the fact that activity detection, tracking, and activity understanding are often related problems which should be solved together. With this, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and just to show a bit of what I think is going to be happening next. Essentially, what we really need to do is to look at activity at different levels of analysis, so pushing the idea of finding hierarchical representations for activities from course to time, and be able to segment activities, multiple activities that happen in the same scenes, which is the first video contains multiple activities, and also be able to scale this up to thousands of activities as these workshops and complete. And with this, thank you very much.
Some general comments. I noticed in the activity recognition community, the use of graphical models to describe information. Studying the after recognition one is mostly about discriminative classifiers. Are you aware of any, are you doing any work yourself with integration of discriminative recognition?
Well, I think that the fundamental problem is that if you just look at an action with person doing regulation, then all these great results on discovering features and using features in a stable way is extremely valuable. But then the problem is that as you try to solve more complex activities, which involves interacting with humans or with objects, so we need more powerful representation. And usually, graphical models tend to be more suited for that. In fact, the two don't exclude each other. Let's say that if you stay at the low level, trying to discover those basic atomic activities, then all the feature representation that we described out.
Yeah, you also have context even when only one individual is involved, right? So, and also, you could use these currently models instead of trackers to detect the parts of the video that are really interesting, like we studying to do. So, I think that could replace, for instance, trackers or certain.
So the question is that how far you want to go really into understanding the meaning of an activity. So in fact, so I haven't really talked about this in this talk today, but another work can be that I've also been interested in exploring is to describing activities by looking at the goals, by decomposing the human body different estimation of body parts. So that's played a tremendously important role in discovering human interaction with objects and so on. So in this case, again, just a feature-based representation, not a representation is not sufficient for complexible interaction. So
yeah, I think the advantage of this is that you have the localization, you know, whether it's a person, track, etc. This thing is going to understand classifiers.
Yeah, I also notice all these videos are mostly about people spending. You know, there is a bit of a bias in these benchmarks. You probably, I mean, also we have biases in our benchmarks, and it kind of drives the methodology.
yeah, it's true. I mean, somehow the type of activity drives the methodology. On the other hand, I think that again, the complexity of the problem also drives the type of model to address. And I feel that eventually what we, so the two philosophies in fact don't exclude each other, so they can be combined. You can take advantage of the best
for coming to my presentation. So I will be presenting my topic on order trajectories for large-scale human action recognition. Myself, Ramna Agarwal, Roland Buki. We are from University of Canberra. So the outline of my presentation is, first of all, I will give introduction, very brief, because already we are on human action recognition. And the motivation for order trajectories and the proposed framework, and some of the settings we have taken to conduct our experiments. And finally, we'll show the results of our technique on two data sets. And we'll also present the challenge data set UC101. So the basic framework for an action recognition is you have a video, computer detection, you determine some regions of interest, that is the interest point, and then you compute some local descriptors around them. Essentially, they are going to capture some shape, motion, such kind of things, and then you construct features from them, and then you forecast them. So, some of the interest points which are quite popular in this field is like local interest points, like Apta, this. So they show space-time points which are varying in time scale. But one of the bad drawbacks is that they miss global information and only trigger when there is significant spatial temporal changes. Another kind of technique is the body part detectors. That means you have detectors for head, legs, torso, and limb. So on each frame or some key frames, you detect those body parts, and using that information also you can detect the action recognition. But this is useful only on small scale, but on large scale, this is difficult because they do not at all capture any context. So, an popular technique, and which has been presented before me, and many people have used in the challenge also, is the dense trajectories, in which a sequence of interest points are tracked for a fixed length of like 15 frames per second, 15 successive frames. So, now the local descriptors are computed around such kind of interest points, which are detected by different techniques. And I want to here describe, emphasize on the point that when there is some interest points detected, you around some subvolume defined by n segment and tau in space and time, and that is these descriptors like arc, motion bone, histogram are computed. Now, the motivation for our technique is if objects that move for longer time are captured, then they are able to conduct more characteristic information. Like from the previous presentation where our friend Silvio, he was saying in developing a hierarchical model, suppose we have trajectories A, B, C, D. If you can combine A and B or C and D that in the right way, will it improve? So I think that's also one of the, it comes close to our motivation. But the problem is, how can you compute a descriptor around varying length of interest points? Suppose there's a track which has 100, which is track of 100 frames. Then the half descriptor or embase descriptor is n sigma and tau, and tau will change basically. Whereas if you have a small track which has only 5 frames, its descriptor will be different. Then how can you combine those different length of descriptors? So the solution we propose is the order trajectories. So order trajectories means basically the trajectories with longer duration, and we just accumulate the local descriptors of those order trajectories. We will not compute descriptor over one full length trajectory, but only the basic constituent trajectories which constitute the long trajectory. For example, if we show in this figure, there is one track trajectory starting from frame I. There is a second trajectory starting from the next frame I+1. So, if this trajectory is essentially this trajectory only, but continuing from the next frame, we are essentially having two tracks. But if we can combine both of them, that's a longer trajectory, and trying to use that descriptors patterns very in a special way, we are hoping that will give better recognition rate. So a technique to match two kind of trajectories between two successive frames is a brute force technique is ransack technique. But we propose here a computationally simpler technique. That means, suppose we have this trajectory, want to compare with this trajectory in the next frame. We will not compare all the points. We just compare the second point of first trajectory and first point of the second trajectory. If this distance is less than a threshold, which has been chosen based on the dense trajectory features computation, then we'll label it as this is the trajectory that is going to continue from the next frame. It's a very simple technique. So essentially, matching of 2L-dimensional length trajectories has been reduced to just certain matching of 2D set of points. So this doesn't take much time. And so the exponential which we have used to test our framework is we are taking the simplest bag-of-words model. We first compute dense trajectories, and then we generate the order trajectories, which are longer ones, and then we compute the local descriptors around them. We construct code books and construct testing models. We use these following four descriptors: half, base, and trajectory shape. So we have experimented with different kinds of encoding schemes. Just a brief introduction because others have already covered it. The first technique, which is very popular, is the hard assignment scheme, in which basically captures the frequency of the visual words. So we constructed code books of 4,000 visual words using K-means clustering. So in this technique, the feature dimension is of 4,000 for each descriptor type. And then we use multi-channel nonlinear SM with RPF chi-square, kernel chi-square for each class. The second type of feature encoding technique we used is VLAC technique. So the difference is that it just doesn't count the frequency. It tries to capture how much the descriptors are closer to visual words. So the degree of difference, so basically it's trying to capture something like first order information. So for this purpose, the code books of 256 only visual words are constructed using K-means clustering. And because we are using the difference, not just frequency count, so the dimension of the descriptor becomes a feature. So the length of the feature dimension, length of the feature is 256 into d, where d is the dimension of the descriptor. If it is a half, 96. If it is trajectory shape, it is 30, and it varies like that. And in this case, because they are not histograms, we cannot use chi-square kernel or nonlinear square. But what we can do is we can concatenate all the features, and because now the feature is very long, we can directly use a linear SVM. And the third kind of feature encoding technique is Fisher vector. And the Fisher vector encoding technique, it tries to capture the first order and the second order statistics. So it captures the deviations and the deviations of the covariance also. In that sense, essentially we can think that this is going to capture much more information than hard assignment or VLAC technique. So the code books for this technique are constructed by using Gaussian model, and the feature dimension size is 256 into 2D, because 256 into D is for the deviations in first order, and for the second order 256 into D. Together they make 256 into 2D. And in this case also we concatenate all the features and directly use linear SVM. So these techniques of VLAD and Fisher vector encoding are quite popular in large-scale image classification, and recently only they have been started applying on human action recognition, particularly on large number of classes. So that is where we try to do this technique. And we use one against test multi-class classification as a performance measure, and we tested our technique on two datasets, HMDB51 and USF50, which are collected from real-time scenario scenes, and each one has at least 50 classes that were largest datasets till date. So now I'll come to the results part. So I'll give you an idea on how many number of order trajectories are there in suppose videos. For a sample video from HMDB51 dataset, the dense trajectories, which are say base trajectories, is around say 21,000. The order trajectories is nearly only 50%, 11,656. So they are quite few in number, and actually this can enhance computation efficiency that I'm showing in the coming stage now. And this is the distribution of the ratio of number of order trajectories to the number of test trajectories for all the HMDB videos. So for most of the videos, say 1600 videos, it is around only 50%. For some videos, it is around 90%, and for some it is 0.1%. But seeing the Gaussian distribution and the average around 50%, we can safely assume that nearly 50% of dense trajectories are sufficient for what we are using in our experiments. Now I'll come to the recognition accuracy on the data sets. So the dense trajectories have yielded 84.5 and 46.6 on the two data sets. And the proposed order trajectories, which are nearly only half in number of the original dense trajectories, have yielded 85.5% and 47.3%. So this is on par and better than the original dense trajectories. Now dense trajectories, when computing spatial pyramid, that means there is a lot of computation efficiency. It is 85.6 and 48.3, which is very close to our model trajectories. There is a recent technique in CVPR 2013 where they have shown that randomly sampling 10,000 descriptors, dense trajectories, on an average of 5 times, they have yielded 83.3% and 46.6%. So this is because of randomly selection. If they run for 10 or 15 more times, this will come down or this will go up. But the idea we are taking is that the dense trajectories are so rich, but a few of them is selected properly, that means in an ordered way, we can get a much better recognition data. So one of the byproduct of our results is that the background noise like things is lessened because we are taking the trajectories which are of longer duration. Some of these things have decreased. For example, in one of these videos from UC50, we can see that some of this background has disappeared. In another video from HMV51 dataset, some background like this noise is lessened. So because
the reason that the background trajectory disappeared because of what? Because I thought you're taking a couple of trajectories and getting them bigger, longer, right?
yeah, we are checking are they continuing or not for next coming frames.
So that will remove also smaller trajectories.
Yeah, as a consequence, some of them may be removed because we are not specifically focused. It's just naturally coming up. So it is giving a support to our technique that longer trajectories, the order trajectories which we are collecting, is richer enough.
Also, before merging, there were maybe two trajectories that would correspond to the order trajectory, or 2 or 3 or maybe n. But afterwards, it's just one. So you're actually downweighting the presence of these long trajectories in some sense, basically, right?
No, what we are doing is, if suppose it's trajectory A, trajectory B, and if you have found out that it's the same trajectory that's going to continue,
Yeah.
we just accumulate descriptors of this trajectory and this trajectory, that's all.
I see you.
We have not so far merged it, we have kept it for whichever.
I see.
So in that way, we just have to collect the indices of the trajectories, which are just computing, so it doesn't even take space also.
I see.
So, but then what's the advantage of doing that? If you are keeping the descriptor for both the trajectories, right?
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that?
Yeah. Yeah, the point is, first thing is there's a computation efficiency because I'm showing that by results that the results which have been obtained by Gaussian trajectories, spatial pyramidal style, different kinds of encodings, concoctation, all of them can be achieved by just almost half of the actual trajectories. Because the feature dimension, the length of the feature dimensions which are shown like 4000 into D, 256 into 2D, when they are used in a spatial pyramid style, they are going to increase like anything. And you have to construct code book for each time, and you will classify
compact
Yeah.
presentation, but
We are,
that you're not losing because you have fewer trajectories.
yes, yes, yes. It's, right now, we are, the main point we are showing is that even with less trajectories also, we can get on par or better performance. Especially on larger scale, when in the future, like number of classes are going to increase, this will be useful. So I'm showing the video now. So we can see there's some background as well. And now the results on the challenge dataset, user 101. So the proposed order trajectories using hard assignment was 72.8, which we published in the research track. And using Wheeler technique is 73.1. And then proposed order trajectories with Fisher encoding technique is 80.1. Obviously it is more than a 7 to 8% difference because it's capturing first order and second order statistics. And the improved trajectories, which was proposed by Wang and Smith in SCV 2013, is 83.6. So, although we could not compute the order trajectories immediately, improved trajectories because of the time like on which they released code, we have just used the improved trajectories and our order trajectories information. There is an improvement of around 2%, which shows that it is complementary. And as shown in the result, the improved trajectories when computing spatial pyramid style gives 85.9, whereas the other trajectories gives 85.4. That is just 0.5 difference, but there's a lot of decrease in computation. So the conclusion we can say is dense trajectories with longer duration can definitely yield on par or better performance than dense trajectories, and this can be a very good tool for computation resources. And the proposed order trajectories are also complementary to the recent improved trajectories and have yielded very better good recognition rates on the challenge dataset. And as a byproduct, noise-like trajectories are also lessened by proposed scheme. Thank you.
Okay, let's move to the next talk. That's spatial number feature based on triangulation of this curve. This is give my thumb.
Okay, so let's start. So as the title suggests, what we propose here is a method of extracting spectral temporal features. And our method is an extension of the method proposed by Nobuchiro in ECCP Workshop 2010. And our contributions are first, a simple yet efficient selection of address points, and second, some novel spectral temporal descriptors. And the performance of our feature on UCF 101 was about 60%, and we applied this vector encoding technique to represent the videos within our feature, and we used last linear SVM to perform maximum classification. And so here I want to compare our work with some works also aimed to extract low-level spatial temporal features based on address points. Here I list only some of them: tree shape, tree hop, state, and trajectory. Here the trajectory means dense trajectory-based features as described in Wang et al.'s paper. And there are 2 points that I want to compare. First, the selection of address points, and then the vectorization of the features. And first about the point selection. Why 3D SIF randomly select points? 3D hop and stick use the the space-time Motion Harris operator to select the interest points. And then the trajectory use then sampling to sample the points. And on the other hand, our proposed method at first use then sub to sample points, and then we select interest points based on the flow vectors of the key points. So our idea is quite similar to the previously presented work, because we consider the points with more movements, with more dominant movements are supposed to be more representative. About the vectorization, 3D SIF, 3D Hawk and SIF extract the features from the qubit, the area surrounding of the interest points. And then trajectory also extract features from the surrounding interest point, but the volume is aligned with the trajectory of the interest points. And our proposed method does not use the information of the surrounding area. Indeed, we group the interest point into triangles, and then we extract features from each triangle. And here I use a frame set of fencing action to illustrate our method. So first, from a frame set, we extract the soft key points using then sub, and then we estimate the optical flow using large displacement optical flow. And here the key points and their flow vectors indicated by the red dots. And then we operate motion compensation and point selection. You can see that after the point selection step, only the points that belongs to the more representative areas are selected. And then we apply Delaunay triangulation to the selected points, and finally extract spectacular features from each triangle. And so basically our framework is construct based on the baseline, but we introduce the motion compensation, and we improve the point selection step and the feature extraction step. So here I will talk about our enhancement points. First, about the motion compensation. So in the baseline, no motion compensation is done. That means when they detect the camera motion in a frame set, they ignore the information of that frame. And if the whole camera contains the camera motion, that means no features will be extracted. And we propose a simple and efficient motion compensation to overcome this problem. And we first estimate the direction and the magnitude of the camera flow, and then if we determine that the camera is moving, we cancel the camera motion from the key points. And here's how we estimate the camera movement. We consider four directions: right, left, up, and down. And so here's an example for horizontal direction. We first count the number of the points with positive and negative optical flow, and we then consider the points with we have the absolute flow is larger or equal to a constant as a moving point. And then if this condition is satisfied, the camera is considered as being moving to the right. And if this condition is satisfied, the camera is considered to move left. And this condition simply means that if the majority of the points are moving to a direction, so the camera is moving to that direction. And if none of these conditions is satisfied, the camera is horizontally stable. And so in this case, it's not necessary to compensate the motion. And if the camera is moving, the magnitude of its movement is simply computed as an average of flow of points in the same direction. And in this case, the motion of the key point will be simply compensated like this. Minus or plus the camera flow is just depends on the direction of the camera. And after determining which point are moving and how many times they move in the frame set, we select the interest points. So let me introduce let me explain the principles of point selection. In the baseline, through the frame set, for point, if at least once each flow is larger than a fixed threshold, that point will be selected. As opposed to the method, in our method, the threshold is flexible. It changes at every frame, and moreover, not all the points which satisfy the first condition will be selected, but we prefer points with more movements. So first, why motion threshold should be flexible? First, because this is that the magnitude of the movement depends on the action. So, for example, the sport action like surfing, high jumping, or ice dancing are supposed to have larger displacement than the daily activities like applying lipstick, like typing or cerebral. And it also depends on the environment. So, for example, even with the same action, the further the distance between the actors and the camera, the smaller the movements will look like. And the environment can change at any time. So we propose to update the motion threshold at every frame, and we consider for directions right, left, and up and down. And for example, the motion threshold for a frame in the right direction will be estimated like that, and it's just the value, some value between the average and the maximum. And so if a point has the flow larger or equal to the threshold of a direction, then the point is considered to be moving into that direction. And we also consider the case when nothing is moving to a specific direction. So if the threshold of that direction is smaller than epsilon, so the point is, no point is moving to that direction. And in our experiment, epsilon is fixed as 1. And then after determining which points are moving and how many times they move, we select the points with more movement. So why points with more movement should be preferred? Because they are supposed to be more distributed. So for example, the materials in the cutting scene or the referee in the sumo wrestling scene also move sometimes the preset, but they do not move